How's it going, everyone? My name's Aiden. Welcome back. Today's day 303 post back on this channel. Back in the journey once again. Hopefully, you all are having such a great Friday today and another day in the week. Of course, we are back. We made it to the end of the week, and happy Halloween to all of you. Decided to dress up for this video in my good old Luigi costume. But with that being said, today's message I want to talk about is your future self is built by today's decisions. Before we get into today's message, let's talk about today real quick. Well, we worked out overnight last night, and that was brutal. It didn't really feel real. I dressed up in my Luigi costume last night. Had some kind of sketchy people come in, but overall, solid experience. Just worked a shift today as well, so the only thing I look forward to is going out with my boys, and that should be fun. But let's just get back into today's message. Your future self is built by today's decisions. Why is that so important? You know, we think about our future. We think about what's going to happen, the what ifs, the how it's going to happen, and, the whys, and oh my God, like, are things supposed to be taken as a sign? You know, life works in so many magical ways. But the way that you should really be working for yourself is making the right decision. I think every single day, it truly does matter what decision you make because it impacts you later and later and later in life. Now, I know what you're thinking. One tiny small decision can't really factor everything for yourself, right, in the future. Well, I think it's kind of like one decision that you make can build habits. And if you really don't make the smartest decisions, you might fall down a bad road of bad habits.
Is there something else I can help?
I didn't fucking ask, Yuri. I didn't ask. Okay, sorry, but I think it's really important to make good decisions. And kind of coming with that, you know, building yourself into a better person. It's always very important to recognize what it is that you're going through in this moment right now, the challenges that you're facing right now, and how it could linger into your future. And kind of with that, if right now you decide to build better versions of who you are, you decide to make better decisions, it all follows down this long road of life. You're building yourself a better way of living for the future. Now, I'm not saying that you have to like overthink and question about what the future is going to be like and try to prepare yourself for it. And not even saying that every decision has to be an amazing one for the future. But if you want to live a much better life, way, 5, 10 years later, make good decisions now because it can affect you and it will affect you. And something that I always kind of thought growing up was like, the decisions I make when I'm younger won't affect me. I've made a lot of silly mistakes growing up, and I thought that they would all just go away. But me, being an overthinker, being very guilty about my past, it's actually kind of ruined me a lot, and therefore I think kind of just growing up and trying to understand things, doesn't always go the way that I hope it does. So as I'm moving on and I'm growing, I'm learning. That's something that you have to understand is that when you want to build better decisions for yourself and for your future, you have to take everything that you've learned from your past, that you're learning right now in the present, and implement it for the future, but in a much better way. Because obviously the things that you learn, you don't want to try to transform it into a negative way. You want it to be positive. You want to have a better life growing up, not a worse life. So everything that's happened in the past, all the mistakes that you've made, you're able to refine it in the future and use it for better reasoning. What I mean by that is basically you're taking what you've learned from your past and you are building it into these better decisions for yourself in the present, which is going to make your future so much better. So decide to do good things right now because you are going to build yourself a better life later instead of, you know, falling down a road where things aren't going to, go the way that you want it to. And that might not lead to the life that you want. You know, we have all this time right now. Obviously there's so many things to worry about, but really one of the things you should be worrying about is as you grow up, what's my life going to start looking like? You know, do I got to get a job? You know, if I want kids, like, how's me and my significant other? Like, there's a lot of questions you have to ask yourself, but really, you should be focusing on what you do now and not what you do in the future. That's what I'm saying. You got to build these good decisions now so later in life you still make those good decisions. And honestly, you could even make even better decisions in the future to have a better life. That's the whole point. We want to just live good. We want to live good. We want to feel good, and we want to be good. So take everything that you've learned and make better choices for your future, because that's how you're building your future self, is by decisions that you are making today and tomorrow and the day after that and the week and the month and the year after that. But with that being said, guys, I hope you all have such a great rest of the Halloween, and remember to take care of yourself. Use every matter, and I will see you all tomorrow. Take care.